Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are doing a whole body check-in, just ensuring that everything is okay and still in working order. We're playing high and low to the mat. As always, play when you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to find a comfortable parallel stand. More or less, the middle of the mat is a good spot to be. Square up your feet. Make sure all 10 toes are looking to the front of the mat. Start to root through all four quadrants of your feet. Lengthen through the line of your leg. Look for a small 12 o'clock tilt through the pelvis. Lengthen your lower back and draw up softly along the abs. Start with your chin line parallel to the floor. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, peek over one shoulder, keeping that chin line parallel. Inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale to repeat to the second side and begin to move in an alternating fashion, left to right, remembering to pause along the midline. Let's do one more to each side. Bring your chin line back to neutral. Big breath to peek up. Exhale to look down. Start to move in that up-down fashion, being mindful of not creating more tension on the back of your neck. So keep the movement controlled. Then think of those 4 points we were playing with. Think of it as a north, south, east, west. Bring your chin line back to neutral and with the tip of your nose, start to move clockwise between those 4 points in a north, east, south, west fashion. Then begin to move in the opposite direction in a north, west, south, east fashion. As if you were tracing the circumference of a big marble with the tip of your nose. Then come to stillness. Make a T-arm frame through the arms and let's do fingertips looking up to the sky. Keep this fingertip up position as you start to trace a forward tracking circle in a rapid fashion with your hands. Keep tracing the same circle, but drop your hands so that your palms are parallel to the floor. Keep the circle going and drop your fingertips towards the floor. Keep your fingertips where they are, but begin to trace the circle in the opposite direction. Keep the circle going and bring your palms parallel to the floor. Keep the circle going, fingertips up. Come to stillness, relax the arms heavy at your side and focus on your feet. Keeping your feet fully grounded, so not lifting any portion of your feet off the mat. Start to rock the weight forwards into your toes and backwards in your heels. Keep playing in this north-south fashion for a bit. Not lifting the toes or the heels. Then begin to play in an east-west fashion. Now start to move dynamically between those 4 points in a clockwise fashion. So we're moving first north, east, south, west, keeping the feet fully grounded and just shifting the weight. Come to stillness, begin to rock north, south again. Let's do east-west. Now begin to move anti-clockwise between those 4 points in a north, west, south, east fashion. Come to stillness, big breath in, keep those feet grounded and roll it down, nodding chin to chest. Hollow out your belly, round out your back, peel down as far as your back will allow. Take a recovery inhale and use your exhale to peel back up. Give me at least 4 more in a controlled fashion, looking for that contraction in your belly muscles to peel you down, and then undoing that contraction to restack and to realign your body in one long line. Move with your breath. Limbering up through the spine and waking up those abs. The next time you find yourself rolling down, stop in a more or less tabletop line and take a long stretch through the neck and the spine. Then begin to bend and extend the legs in unison while keeping your arms soft and dangly. Waking up the back chain of the legs. And the front chain for that matter. All right. And then we're going to use that bend to find our way onto the haunches, and then we're going to take a seat on the mat. We are bringing it into a roll down pattern. So if you know that you've got a thin mat or a sensitive spine or a pronounced curvature of the lower back, just give yourself a little bit of padding. Place it where your back will need support. Don't have those feet too close to your bottom, so give yourself enough of a grounding so that you can try to keep your feet on the mat as best as possible. If you're playing low key, you're going to float the arms out in front for your roll down pattern. If you feel like challenging yourself a little bit, we're going to begin and end in an overhead position today. So we're going to take a big breath in. On an exhale, as the ribs fall in, we're going to hollow out into C curve, tipping the weight off our tailbone. We're going to roll down. Big breath into breath. On an exhale, we're going to roll back up. And you're going to give yourself at least 5 repeats, looking for that hollow frame, trying to keep the hands floating overhead as you roll up and down, mobilizing down one nodule of the spine at a time, and then peeling back up one nodule at a time. Let's do one more to arrive on the mat, and then we're going to stay on the mat. And if you do have any padding underneath the back, you can just walk your feet closer, slip the padding out, and find your way to a bridge-like setup on the mat. We're going to relax the arms alongside the body, and we are coming into a controlled, think of it as a hula pelvic tilt through the pelvis. So you don't need to see me, just listen to the cues for the next one. You're starting in a neutral spine position. You're going to take a big breath in to prepare. On an exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis to 12. You're going to imprint your lower and your mid back. You're going to pause in that tilt. And then you're going to start bearing right, tilting your right hip lower than your left. You're going to pause. Then you're going to start to bear down to the 6 o'clock position so that there's more curve in your spine. Pause. Then you're going to begin to bear left, tilting your left hip lower than your right. You're going to pause. And then you're going to find your way back to the 12 o'clock position. And now you're going to begin moving dynamically between those 4 points in a north, east, south, west fashion, tracing a big lazy hula circle as you go. Come to stillness, find neutral. Tilt to the 12 o'clock position, hold it. Then begin to bear left, tilting your left hip lower than your right. Pause. Start to bear down to the 6 o'clock position, more curve in the spine. Then begin to bear right, dipping the right hip lower than the left. Pause. Find your way back to 12 o'clock and now begin to move in an anti-clockwise fashion, tracing a nice lazy hula circle, thinking north, west, south, east. Keeping your sacrum gently connected to the mat throughout and just tilting through the pelvis. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll find our way from here into a grounded 100. So end in a neutral position. We'll keep our feet on the mat. Starting neutral, take a big breath in. On an exhale, find a 12 o'clock tilted imprint. Bleed up into a small arm and chest lift. Then start to rapidly beat the arms as you inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. So the arm movement is rapid, but the breath movement is slow. Arms and breath working in opposition. Take a long inhale for 5 and a long exhale for 5. Last one. Bleed back down to the mat. Take recovery and extend your legs long and lengthened on the mat. We're going to play a right leg. You're going to drag your right big toe along the mat. You're going to kick up to 90. You're going to retrace your path back to brace and extend, and you're going to keep playing with the repeat on the right, keeping the weight of your back line pressing equally into the mat throughout. Keeping a neutral spine, but making that belly button nice and heavy to the mat. One more. We're going to end with the right leg long extended on the mat with a soft reaching toe line. We're going to pull the right knee into table and relax it back down to the mat without making a thunk, keeping the weight of our shoulders and back pressing equally into the mat throughout. Use a zippering up action from the pelvic floor towards the belly button line to pull the knee up, and then undo the zip to bring the leg back down. You're going to end in the table position, hold it. You're going to add a chest lift, sliding your arms along the mat and pressing off your palms, hold it. Then we're going to come into a slow 100 pattern from here, inhaling for a slow count of 5 as you raise the arms up in line with your knees, and then exhaling for 5 as you come down. Keep your left leg long and extended, or if you need support, bend the knee and ground the foot. Let's do one more float up and down. Then reground to the mat. Shake your legs out if you need it. We're going to repeat left. Start to find your drag and your kick pattern on the left. Keeping the weight of your back pressing equally into the mat. Let's do one more. We're going to end with the left leg long, extended, and a reaching toe line. We're going to pull the left knee to 90, and then relax back down with no sound, 10 times. End in the knee draw, hold it. Add a chest lift, pressing into your palms, hold it. Then start to play with your slow 100. Inhaling for a slow count of 5 as you raise the arms up in line with your knees. Exhaling for 5 as you come down. Let's do one more up and down. Find your way back down to the mat. Legs are long and extended. We're going to find an alternating drag pattern, and the pattern is going to be single, single, double. So we're going to drag the right big toe. We're going to kick up to the sky. We're going to retrace to brace. We're going to repeat left. And then we're going to double up and we're going to drag both legs together. We're going to kick up to the sky. We're going to extend and brace. And we're going to shoot for 4 more repeats of this little alternating pattern. Single, single, double. Let's do one more set. We're going to end with the legs long extended and reached. We're going to pull the right knee up. This time we're going to hug the knee in tighter towards the nose and then relax back down 10 times. Keeping head and shoulders on the mat for the first 5. Then maybe for the next 5, see if you can add a little chest lift, drawing your knee closer to your nose. Keeping the weight of your back pressing equally throughout. End in the tuck, hold it. Now start to focus on your extended leg. Pull the leg off the mat, floating it up just a little bit higher than your hip, and then dropping to a hovering position and starting to lift and lower for 10. Keeping that small chest lift. Reground to the mat. Give yourself recovery. We're going to play alternating single, single, double. You're going to drag the left leg to kick up. You're going to retrace back to brace. You're going to repeat right. And then you're going to double up and you're going to drag both legs together and extend to brace. And you're going to repeat that pattern 4 more times. Single, single, double. Keeping your back line pressing into the mat equally throughout. Last set, and then we'll play left. End with your legs long and reaching on the mat. You're going to pull the left knee into table. You're going to squeeze or hug in with your arms and then relax back down. 5 times with head and shoulders on the mat. And then 5 times, maybe adding a chest lift. So it feels like you pulling your knee closer towards your nose and almost looking for more contraction in the belly. In that little tuck, hold it. Start to focus on your extended leg. Pull it up and then drop to hover. And start to play with that lifting and lowering action, not quite allowing that foot to ground for 10 successive lifting actions. Relax back down to the mat, bend both knees, ground both feet. We're going to keep the arms relaxed and heavy at our side, and we're going to come into a chest lift. Every time we come into the chest lift, we'll layer it like an onion and we'll start to play with the legs. So the first one we're going to do with a grounded leg line. Hands are going to stay connected to the mat throughout. We're just going to slide them front and back. So you're going to begin in neutral. You're going to find your tilt and imprint. You're going to bleed up into a chest lift, sliding towards your foot line, and then releasing back down 10 times. Halfway. Last one. Peel back down to the mat and open up your arms into a T-frame. Let's do palm down. We're going to keep this T-frame as we play with a working bridge articulation. So you're going to articulate up into your bridge. You're going to hold it for a slow count of 20, pressing into your shoulders and your palms and squeezing your glutes, activating your hamstrings and your quads. Then start to soften from your belly button down to your knees. Begin to articulate back down, one line of the ribs at a time, starting from your shoulder line and working down towards the lower back. Bring the arms alongside the body, palm down. We're coming back into our chest lift. You're either going to keep the feet where they are, or you're going to take the next progression by pulling the knees into the 90 position. You're going to bleed up into your chest lift, sliding your arms, and then exhale to float down 10 times. Keeping your knees stacking over your hips and not pulling them through the control line. Let's do one more. Reground your feet. Open up your arms into a T-frame, and this time let's do palms up. We're going to articulate up into the bridge. We're going to hold the bridge, pressing into the back of our hands and our shoulders as we activate glutes, quads, hamstrings. Hold. Keep your feet and your knees in parallel. Lead back down. Once you're back in neutral, bring the arms alongside the body, palm down. Keep them there or tuck your hands underneath your bottom. We're going to try to do the next chest lift with the legs at the 90 position. Fully extended or small micro bend in the knees if you need it. We're going to bleed up into our chest lift, sliding the arms, and then exhale to float back down. Shoot for 10 controlled repeats or as close to that as you can manage. Float back down to the mat. Set up your bridge line and start with the T-frame arm, palm down. You're going to articulate up into your bridge and hold with your palms pressing down and your shoulders pressing down and your chin relaxed towards your chest. Then hold your bridge and flip your hands, palms up, and hold for a further rough count of 20. Lead back down when you're ready, finding your way all the way to neutral. Relaxing your arms alongside the body and extending the legs, finding a little Pilates V position on the mat. So we're going to do heels together. Toes softly straight out as if your inner thighs were shyly rotating and looking up to the ceiling. And we're going to try to keep this turnout position. We're going to move the legs in unison as we play with an external hip rotation. Start to bend both knees, draw them in towards the midline, and trace 5 little circles, keeping your feet softly caressing the mat while you play with that external rotation. Then see if you can do another 5, but float the feet now so that the feet are not resting on the mat and you're almost beginning to swim like a little frog. Keep that frog swim going and see if you can peel up into a chest lift, pressing off your palms. Last one. End in a little knee tuck. Relax head and shoulders to the mat. We're coming into a working clam. You're going to keep the feet squeezing together. We're going to open and close right. We're going to open and close left. Then we're going to double up and do both together. So the pattern is single, single, double. Single, single, double. Halfway, 5 more sets to go. Last set. Ground your feet and place both hands softly on your hips. You're going to try to keep the pelvis as stable as you can. So what you're looking for here is not to have one hip hiking up higher than the other. So your hands are your control line. You're going to allow both knees to flop out, almost knife edging your feet. Coming into a modified supine butterfly. Then you're going to squeeze the knee shut again. Pay attention to those hip bones. Now you're going to stabilize and you're going to open right only. Slow and controlled, trying to keep not rolling your weight to the right. Close right. Open left. Control, control. Both together one last time. Keeping even through the hips. Close the two knees. And then roll over onto your side. We're coming into a little bit of side work. We're going to bend and stack the legs. Try to have the neck, spine, and heels on the same axis. We'll loosely interlace both hands behind the head, elbows together in front of your eye line. You're going to take a long inhale in as you open up the top elbow and drop it as far as you can to the mat behind you. And then you're going to allow that elbow to come back, and you're going to give yourself 5 repeats, progressively trying to increase your drop range every time you open up. So don't rush the movement. Give your lower back an opportunity to warm to the stretch. Take a long inhale and track the elbow for its journey. Take a long exhale and track your elbow back. We're going to do one full movement, one more full open and close movement. And then we'll switch up the next one. So the next time you open, just give me a halfway open, thinking elbow to sky, then focusing on the side of your waist, the top side of your waist. You're going to give me a small little crunch and relax back down. Don't pull on your head or your neck. Hold the next one. Then as you come down, give yourself a prop on the bottom arm. I'm just going to give myself some more space to play here. So we're going to keep the bottom leg bent and we're going to extend the top leg, and you're going to keep a slight turnout position. You're going to give me a pull towards your nose and relax back. Keep that slight turnout position. So it's almost a combination between a pull and a kick. We're going to end in the pull kick, and you're going to use your toes to trace the circumference of a large tennis ball. 5 times in one direction. Keep that slight turnout position. And then 5 times in the opposite direction. Float back to your control line, and this time, keeping the turnout, we're going to kick or pull to the sky and back. Keep that slight turnout position so that you're feeling a wrap around into the inside and the outside of the leg. We're going to end at hip height. And you're going to keep the turnout position as you trace that small circle 5 times in one direction. And 5 times in the opposite direction. Heads up, we're coming onto the belly from here. You're going to roll over. You're going to center align yourself on the mat, and you're going to prepare for some cobra work. Bend your elbows, place your palms alongside your bosom, and relax your forehead to the mat. We're going to keep our feet connected to the mat, and we're going to focus belly button up. Find a little marble underneath your nose, start to roll it away, and peel up into a small chest lift with 2, 3, or 1 rib still connected to the mat. So select the height that works for you. See if you can fire up those back muscles so that you can float your palms and not rely on your hands, and then start to swim breaststroke, driving your arms forward and then bending to circle back out and giving me maybe 10 breaststrokes. Keeping the height of your chestlet, so not bobbing your body up and down, holding the chestlet so those back muscles need to work. Last one. Place your palms on the floor, tuck your toes under, brace your abs, see if you can press up into a plank or a 4-point kneel. Hold. Body line nice and parallel to the mat. Hold. Then without making a thunking sound, relax your knees and your feet to the floor. Inhale to find a hollow back, taking chin and bum bones to sky. Exhale to round out and play dynamically for a few rounds with this cat-cow, keeping the arms and the legs still and just playing with the frame of your spine. Let's do one more. Come to stillness. We're going to push back into child. You can keep the arms long and extended, or you can relax the elbows and stack the forearms one on top of the other, giving yourself a breather. Then sit up from here, take a little flipperoo on the mat, set yourself up low to the mat to repeat on the second side. Stack your legs, line up your neck, spine, heels, interlace the hands loosely behind your head. You're going to open up the top elbow, drop it as far as you can to the mat behind you, and then close. You're giving yourself 5 controlled repeats, and with each opening action, you're trying to drop that elbow progressively closer to the floor. You're not rushing the open or the close, and you're giving your spine an opportunity to warm to the stretch. Keep belly to spine throughout. Let's do one more full open and close movement. Then the next time you find yourself opening up, just give me a halfway open. Play with that small little crunch. Then change the position of the bottom arm. Keep the bottom leg bent and extend the top. Give me a slight turn out position. We're going to pull kick and relax back. Keep that slight turn out position. We're going to end in the pull kick, and we're going to use that turnout position and trace around the ball. Roughly 5 times in one direction, and then 5 in the opposite. Then draw back to your start line. We're going to pull kick up to the sky and back, trying to keep that turnout position. We're going to end at hip height in the turnout position. We're going to try to keep the turnout position, and we're going to circle out for 5. Then 5 in the opposite direction. Heads up, we're coming onto the belly from here. We're going to roll over. You're going to center align yourself on the mat. Still from the belly button down. We're going to work belly button up. Use those back muscles. Relax your palms to the mat. Squeeze your elbows into center. Find that little marble and begin to articulate up. Pick the chest height that allows you to hold and control. Either 3, 2, or 1 rib connected. Hover the palms, lock that back line in, start to extend and swim around breaststroke 10 times. Then bring your palms back alongside your chest, tuck your toes under, bring the knees off the floor, brace your core, press up into a strong plank hold. Without making a thunk to the mat, drop your knees and your feet to the mat and start to play in cat-cow for 5 successive rounds. Find the contraction in your belly when you're rounding out in cat, and undo it to stretch the belly in your cow. Find your way into a neutral table line, and then press back into child, maybe stacking the forearms and giving yourself a little bit of a breather through the arms. Back to 4-point kneeling. Long stretch through the neck and the spine. Make sure that your gaze stays down on the mat. We're going to slide the right arm out and up to table. Hold it. Keep your right arm where it is. Slide the left leg out and up to table. Hold it. Then drop your right arm to the mat and slide it back. Drop your left leg down to the mat and back. Stable through the trunk throughout. Slide your left arm out, up to table, hold it. Keep it there. Stabilize through the trunk and slide the right leg out and up to table. Hold. Relax your left arm down, slide it back to table. Relax your floating leg down, slide it back to the table position. We're going to tuck our toes under, and then we're going to step left leg out as if you were setting up for a lizard line, so the foot is slightly splayed out. You're going to replicate that step out on the other side, and you're going to peel up into let's think of this as a plie squat, okay? Bum is looking towards the back end of your mat and your spine is comfortably in neutral. You're going to tilt to 12 and then release back to neutral. 5 times, slow and controlled. Keeping that turnout position through the inner thighs and the feet. Remember this tilt, put it in your memory banks. End in a tilt, hold it. Then release to neutral, straighten up the leg line, and heel toe in till your legs and your feet are flush along the midline. Then look down towards your feet. Peel your feet out into a small Pilates V, and then see if you can give me a teeny tiny heel lift. Now give me a small bend through the knees and place your hands on your hips. Find your 12 o'clock tilt, release to neutral. Now give me just a little bit more bend. Tilt, release. Give me more bend. Tilt, and release dynamically 5 times, keeping the knees bent. Hold your last tilt. Straighten up the legs, release the tilt, ground your feet, relax the arms alongside the body. You're going to try to keep that slight turn-out position, and you're going to cross the right leg over the left, coming into a fold, maybe a tabletop fold, maybe just keeping your hands on your hip creases. Back to neutral, find your turn-out position, and then step left leg in front of right, fold into a tabletop stretch, keeping the left leg in front of the right. Back to neutral. We're going to fold forward into table, keeping our hands on our hips or floating them behind, maybe finding a loose interlace and then taking a little wiggle into the shoulders. If the shoulders are nice and open, maybe finding a fisted line. Then peel up, thinking fist to floor, coming into an unsupported back bend. Restack, realigning, hands hugging your thighs as you nod chin to chest. We are okay. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Hope you enjoyed today's practice. Till next time, keep it light.